Please express your gratitude when you see these devotees. They put a lot of effort and time in preparing this love feast. And if you'd like to be part of this initiative, you can also contact His Grace, Dayal Chaitanya Prabhu. Another announcement, tomorrow is Ekadashi. Haribo! Everyone's excited. Wonderful. So I'd like to thank the devotees that undertook the planning and coordination of the Lotus Market that we held on Friday. It was well attended. Many devotees and guests came to that. And we'd like to thank you for that, and the organizers and our temple management for that. Today's love feast topic is choosing wise association. I'd like to welcome Her Grace Vaishnava Priya Dasi to the Vyasa-san. Hare Krishna. Welcome, Mataji. So Her Grace Vaishnava Priya Dasi is a disciple of His Holiness Parthasarati Das Goswami Maharaj, and she's been part of our ISKCON Yatra for many years, serving both as a co-leader at the Galitz Namahata and also heading up, supporting the Vaishnava ministry for South Africa. Now I hand you over to Her Grace Vaishnava Priya Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we begin with Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivardhari, Jaya Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivardhari, Jaya Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Radhanat Radha Radhanat Radhe Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya Giri Govardhan Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Shri Shri Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, and welcome to today's Sunday Love Feast. And thank you for joining us today. We're going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, Text 13. So before we do that, I'd like to humbly request your blessings. Please bless me so that I can say something that is pleasing to the heart. It is said that a fool is only discovered once he opens his mouth. So I humbly beg you for your blessings. So we're going to recite some verses. And please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udhirayet nastaprayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Deviki Nandanaya cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangri. So, we're reading from Canto 1, Chapter 18, Text 13. And here, the sages of Naimisharanya are speaking. Tulaya malavanapi na sarvam na punurбhavam bhagvat sangi sangasya mrityanam kim utashisha. Translation. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. The purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When there are some similar points, it is possible to compare one thing to another. One cannot compare the association of a pure devotee to anything material. Men who are addicted to material happiness aspire to reach the heavenly planets like the moon, Venus, and Indraloka. And those who are advanced in material philosophical speculations aspire after liberation from material bondage. When one becomes frustrated with all kinds of material advancement, one desires the opposite type of liberation, which is called apunarbhava, or no rebirth. But the pure devotees of the Lord do not aspire after the happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom, nor do they aspire after liberation from material bondage. In other words, for the pure devotees of the Lord, the material pleasures obtainable in the heavenly planets are like phantasmagoria. And because they are already liberated from all material conceptions of pleasure and distress, they are factually liberated even in the material world. This means that the pure devotees of the Lord are engaged in transcendental existence, namely in the loving service of the Lord, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. As the government servant is always the same, either in the office or at home or any place, so a devotee has nothing to do with anything material, for he is exclusively engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. Since he has nothing to do with anything material, what pleasure can he derive from material benedictions like kingship and other overlordships, which are finished quickly with the end of the body? Devotional service is eternal. It has no end because it is spiritual. Therefore, since the assets of a pure devotee are completely different from the material assets, There is no comparison between the two. Suta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his association with the rishis in Naimisharanya is unique. In the material world, association with gross materialists is veritably condemned. The materialist is called a Yosit Sangi, or one who is much attached to material entanglement. Such attachment is conditioned because it drives away the benedictions of life and prosperity. And just the opposite is Bhagavad Sangi, or one who is always in the association of the Lord's name, form, qualities, etc. Such association is always desirable. It is worshipable, it is praiseworthy, and one may accept it as the highest goal of life. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmenitam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Madakadam Tatati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitam Saja. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priya. Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna, and thank you once again. We've read this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, Text 13. And here, the sages of Naimisharanya, they have decided to perform this 1,000-year sacrifice for the benefit of mankind. And this was not successful. Now, in the previous verse, it's mentioned that their bodies were getting black by the smoke. So instead, they opted to listen to topics of the Supreme Lord, and they invited Suta Goswami to speak. So in this verse, they are glorifying Suta Goswami. Now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that nothing can compare to the association of a devotee. Men can aspire to go to different planets, and when they are frustrated, they seek what is called apunarbhava, or liberation from repeated death. In other words, they seek out the association of pure devotees. And Srila Prabhupada describes this as the highest type of association. So our topic today is choosing wise association. So to understand wise association, we must first define what is association. So the Oxford Dictionary describes association as a group of people having a common interest. So we are all present here today. And what is our common interest? Why are you here today? I mean, you've braved the weather, it's a long weekend. Why are you here? Is somebody that would like to tell us why they have decided to come to Sri Sri Radha Radhanath today? Hare Krishna Prabhu. Get darshan of the deities and engage in service, devotional service. Is there anybody else? Hare Krishna.
Basically, our input for today is exactly the same. Come to the temple, the Lord interest is not in our head. It's what we want.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to share why they have come to the temple today? Sorry, put the mic closer to you.
So fortunate of living in Hillbrow. Every Sunday. I never knew what Krishna has done. Up to today, I don't know why Krishna gave me everything what I want. And then I should drive all the ladies all of Transvaal. Plus, when I was living in my flat, I was praying. I lost my job. Now, one of the devotees came to my flat. Dr. Joyce asked him if he would like to, why don't you come to Melbourne and work? I said, no, I'll think about it. The next day I packed my things, I went to Melbourne. For 7 years I worked there. I did Sangeetan, Food for Life, from 3:30 in the morning to 11 in the night, every day, from Monday to Friday. And Krishna gave me a house. I'm single. When I left the temple, next day I had a phone call. There's a house for you to, what do you call that? I lived there, I just moved out, sold them, came back in August. But Prabhupada did a lot of good things for me. I used to sleep without eating food, only listening to his lectures, all night, all day. I did food for it. I thank all the devotees here, even the gurus too, 7 of them, I told them from 7 to 25. A miracle that I am not a devotee, how can I drive them?
Hare Krishna. So any of the Matajis would like to share why they have come here today? Hare Krishna. So basically, we are all here because we have one common goal, that is to associate with each other, associate with the devotees, and especially take darshan of the Lord and associate in sadhu sangha. So now we all have our goals, whether it is to come here to associate with devotees, come here to engage in devotional service, and all of those goals are very, very important because every activity that we perform in life is determined by some goal. Right? Let's say, for instance, a person is going to work. Right? He has a goal to earn a salary at the end of the month. Right? That salary will then provide for himself and his family. So this is his goal, to earn a salary. So he can have the most difficult boss, he can have the most difficult colleagues to associate with at work, but his goal is focused on earning that salary at the end of the month. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. So he is focused on earning that bit of salary, and nothing can deter him from his goal, because he has to provide for his family. So this is his goal. So in the same way, we have spiritual goals. And when we enter the spiritual institution, we have a goal that we like to achieve. And whatever you do, when you achieve that measured goal, let's say you come here and you want to associate with devotees. Whatever your goal is, I wouldn't give a name to it. Each one of us has an individual goal. When you decide what that goal is, and you come to an institution like Shri Shri Radha Radhanath, and you receive or you achieve that goal, then nothing can deter you not a devotee shouting at you, not anyone in the car park, not anything can deter you from leaving this institution, because you have achieved what you desire. So in the same way, we have choices to make in life. And wise association means making wise choices. Now, I'll take an example. It's the holiday season, and a lot of people are traveling abroad. So let's say you book a ticket that you want to go to some destination. You book the ticket, you board the plane, you are seated in the plane, and you travel to your destination, and then when you reach your destination, you land and you are at your destination. Right? Now, how much of this is in your control? The pilot, you cannot choose. Right? The takeoff, you cannot choose. That is within the hands of the pilot and the ground crew at the airport. The landing, you cannot choose. That is also within the jurisdiction of the pilot and the land crew at the destination airport. But in between, while you are in the plane, you can choose what you want to do. You can read, you can chant, you can speak to your neighbor, you can sleep, you can watch TV. So all of these things are within your jurisdiction. So you can choose whatever you want to do. Now, the same way in life, when we are born, it's similar to us going on a journey. We cannot choose the pilot. In the same way, we cannot choose our parents. We cannot choose the circumstances under which we are born. We cannot choose the time and the place. Those are not within our jurisdiction. And like your landing, your death, you cannot choose the time, place, and circumstance of your death. That is decided by higher authorities. But in between this birth and death, you can choose what you want to do. And wise choices means associating with the wise people. And the wise people, as defined by the Oxford Dictionary, is those who have good judgment. So wise association is associating with those that have good judgment. So we spoke about your life. So who you choose to associate with molds your life. So if you are serious about spiritual life, then choosing the association of devotees is very important. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a crystal. Now, a crystal is clear, but when you place it, let's say, on a red surface, then it will reflect the color red. If you place it on a green surface, it will reflect the color green. Now, similarly, our consciousness is clear, but who we associate with, that's who we will reflect. Now, if we look at, let's say, a group of businessmen, who will they want to associate with? If they want to make their business more successful, who will they associate with? Other businessmen, because that's what is called networking. So in the same way, if you are serious about spiritual life, then you will want to associate with devotees or persons that are serious about spiritual life. Now, how rare is the association of a devotee? His Holiness Devamrita Swami gives this example, that association of a devotee is like a turtle poking its head through a hole in the plank. Now, if you analyze this, turtles normally swim on the bed of the ocean, at the bottom of the ocean, and planks float on the surface. Now, if you find a hole in a plank, what are the chances that a turtle is going to swim up and poke its hole through the head of that plank, or poke its head through the hole in that plank? It's very rare, isn't it? It's a very rare situation. So in that way, we should take good advantage of associating with devotees, because a devotee is very, very rare in this material world. So, the importance of association. Now, Lord Chaitanya, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's speaking to Sanatana Goswami, and he speaks about these 64 processes of devotional service. And he then brings it down to 5 of the most important, and those are Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vasa, Sri Murtaya, Shraddha Savan. One should associate with devotees, hear the holy name, recite Srimad Bhagavatam, reside in Mathura, and worship the deity. And then he further goes on to speak about the different stages of bhakti. And he says, Adoshraddha tata sadhu sangha, tata bhajana kriya, artha anartha navriti sayat tato ruchi tata. Now, Adoshraddha, first there is faith. Right? Then one becomes interested in associating with devotees. That is sadhu sangha. Now you'll notice in both, the first thing is sadhu sangha, he mentions there, sadhu sangha, nam kirtan, bhagavat shravan. Sadhu sangha first. Of the 64 processes of devotional service, sadhu sangha is most important. And then he says, Ato Shraddha, those who have a little faith. Shraddha is faith, right? Those who have a little faith, they become interested in associating with devotees, sadhu sangha. And then comes bhajana kriya. They perform bhajan, following the regulative principles, and then they take shelter of a spiritual master. And thereafter you have anartha nivriti, where one becomes freed from his unwanted habits. But you notice sadhu sangha is mentioned as most important in both these situations, right? So, sadhu sangha makes, if we look at the 12 processes of devotional service, sadhu sangha makes the other processes easier, like bhajana kriya. Now I'll give you an example. All of us, most of us here, perform our japa in the mornings. We chant the Maha Mantra on our beads, depending on what your sadhana is, maybe 16 rounds, maybe more than that. You're chanting your japa in the morning. But you come here, like we had Sankirtan just now, chanting in the association of devotees. Devotees dancing and singing. Isn't that pleasing to the heart? Isn't that more pleasing to the heart than just you performing your japa alone? So in this way, sadhu sangha helps all the other processes, that is anartha nivriti, bhajana kriya, and all the other processes that Lord Chaitanya has described. So, now we will speak about how to develop this association. And the most reliable or the best way to develop our sadhu sangha is to engage in devotional service in the association of devotees. Now let's say somebody is engaging in Sankirtan. Virabhadra, he does Harinam. And those devotees that associate with him, they go on Sankirtan, they go on Harinam Sankirtan in the streets of Durban. They will form a special bond because they are engaging in that service together. Now let's say you decide that you want to engage in garland making, and you get association of the devotees that are making garlands, and you take the association and engage in that service. Now what happens is that you form a special bond then with those devotees, and slowly you advance in spiritual realization. So this interaction between devotees in devotional service makes our bond stronger and stronger, and this helps us to strengthen our spiritual life. So now, let us look at some examples of how association of devotees has helped devotees in the scriptures. Now, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a conversation between Narad Muni and sage Vyasadeva. Now, sage Vyasadeva, he asks Narad Muni, how did you become Narad Muni? Now, we know Narad Muni from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam and all our Puranas. Narad Muni is a traveling spaceman. He can go to all the universes in the material creation, and he can go to the spiritual world, and he can come back. So, not many devotees have that opportunity. And Narad Muni is one of those rare devotees. So sage Vyasadeva is asking him, how did you become this pure devotee, that you have this ability, this mercy from the Lord, that you can travel throughout the universe? So Narad Muni informs him about his previous life. And in his previous life, he was the son of a maidservant. And his mother would serve all the Vedantists and all the Brahmins. They lived in an ashram, and she would serve these Brahmins and these Vedantists. And especially the Vedantists would travel throughout, they are always traveling. All the sages and the saints are always traveling through all the holy places. But when it comes to the Chaturmas, that is the 4 months of the rainy period, then they stay wherever they are. And at one point in his life, Narad Muni was about 5-6 years old. The Vedantas stayed at their ashram, and Narad Muni's mother was serving them. And while she was serving them, he was also serving them and associating with them. And his association was, he was listening to their Krishna Katha. And at one stage, he even asked them for their remnants, and they gave him. So those 4 months of Chaturmas period finished, and the Vedantas were on their way. But it so happened now, Narad Muni is relating the story to Vyasadeva, and he says, once my mother went out to milk the cow, and in the night she was bitten by a serpent, and she died. So Narad Muni, the 6-year-old boy, has no one else in his life. So what does he do? He takes now whatever the Vedantists had mentioned while they were in the ashram, and he was taking their association. And he takes that to heart, and he starts searching for the Supreme Lord. And eventually he finds the Supreme Lord. He finds the Lord appears before him, and the Lord says to him that, my dear boy, you are not mature as yet. This is the last time you will see me, but continue with your devotional service. And then the Lord disappears. So Narad Muni continued with his devotional service, and at the end of his life, he left this body and he achieved a spiritual body where he was able to now travel as Narad Muni. Now, it's all mentioned in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. You can actually read it. It's a very interesting pastime. So, the point is that Narad Muni took the association of these Vedantists, and from a little child, he became the pure devotee, Narad Muni, that we know. So now, let's look at another set of devotees who benefited from devotee association. And that is Dhritarashtra. Now, most of you are familiar with the Bhagavad Gita and Dhritarashtra being the blind king of the Kuru dynasty. Now, he was the eldest. And in Vedic times, the eldest son gets the kingdom, he gets the throne. But since Dhritarashtra was born blind, he could not, or he was not given the throne. Instead, it was given to King Pandu. But Pandu, he died at an early age, and his 5 sons were then meant to rule the kingdom. But because they were still young, Dhritarashtra was given ruling of the kingdom until the eldest son, Yudhishthir, comes of age. But in his heart, Dhritarashtra felt cheated. He felt that he should have ruled the kingdom. And so, then he wanted his son Duryodhan to rule. And Duryodhan, of course, he obviously wanted to rule the kingdom as well. And so then he hatched lots of plans to get rid of the 5 Pandavas. And all his plans were now sanctioned by his father, Dhritarashtra. So, eventually, the battle of Kurukshetra happened, and all Dhritarashtra's sons were killed. Dhritarashtra still survived. And Yudhishthir was placed as the ruler of the kingdom. So, then Vidur, the younger brother of Dhritarashtra, he went on pilgrimage and he came back. And when he came back, he saw this condition of Dhritarashtra. He saw this pathetic condition that this king is getting old and he has taken he's not thought of his destination once he leaves this body. So Vidur decided now to give him some real spiritual association. And he chastised him. He said to him that you are like a household dog. You are eating from the hands of Bhima. Now Bhima is the strongest of the Pandava sons. And Bhima is the one that killed all Dhritarashtra's 100 sons. So Vidur is telling him, you are actually eating from the one that you wanted to have killed. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Your body is frail. Everything is falling apart. You are gone old. When are you going to take to spiritual realization? So he chastised him in such a manner that Dhritarashtra, that very night, he left home together with his queen Gandhari. They left home and they went out into the forest to perform austerities. And within 2 weeks, Dhritarashtra was purified. And through his yogic powers, he vanquished his body and he went back to the spiritual world. So now we see that Dhritarashtra was not going anywhere nice. He was headed somewhere abominable because of his abominable reactions. But because of his association with Vidur, he was able to have a glorious death. Now, let's look at another association, another group of devotees where the association was not appreciated, that of Ravana and Vibhishan. Now Ravana, we know from Ram Leela, he had kidnapped Mother Sita. And Lord Ram and all the monkey soldiers, well, through the help of Hanuman, they had located Mother Sita. So then they assembled on the opposite shore of Lanka, and they were planning to build this bridge to Lanka. So now Ravana had all his spies, and they informed him of what was going on. So Ravana called all his ministers, and included in that was his brother, his younger brother, Vibhishan. Now Vibhishan was a pure devotee of the Lord. Now Ravana, in Vedic times, the kings will call all their ministers and they will take advice from them and they will act on that advice. But because the ministers were so afraid of Ravana, they will tell him things that he wants to hear and they will glorify him. But Vibhishan, in that situation, on that day, he said to him that, "My Lord, you are going to destroy yourself and your entire kingdom and all the Rakshasa race if you persist on keeping Sita here. Return Mother Sita and surrender to Lord Ram. Lord Ram is none other than the Supreme Lord. Surrender to him and you will save your entire dynasty." But of course, Ravana did not take that instruction. And instead, he banished Vibhishan from his kingdom. So what happened to Ravana? He was destroyed. Now, let's look at one with an association of an inanimate object. Now, in the Ramayana, when Lord Ram was exiled to the forest, him and Lakshman and Mother Sita were traveling through the forest, and Lord Ram had this bow and arrows. Lakshman had bow and arrows. But Mother Sita kept looking at this bow. She kept looking at it and looking at it, with disgust. So Lord Ram asked her, "Mata, why are you looking at this bow like this?" So then Mother Sita, she explains the story of Indra. Indra, once, there was a powerful sage, and he became so powerful in his mystic powers that Indra became fearful. Indra is the king of the demigods. He became fearful that this sage is now going to become so powerful that he's going to come and overpower me and he will take over the kingdom of heaven or the heavenly planets. So Indra devised a plan. He dressed up as a soldier, or he disguised himself as a soldier, and he brought a sword with him. And he came to this sage, and he said to the sage that, I've got some errand to do for the king, and I cannot take my sword with me. I'm going to leave it here with you. Will you please take care of it until I come back?" So the sage said, "Not a problem, leave it here and I will look after it." So then Indra said, No. I can't just leave it anywhere. I need you to take hold of it. So this sage said, okay, he will do that. Now, he got hold of the sword, and he is now cannot perform his austerities because he is holding the sword. So after a while, after a few days now, he thinks, okay, I'm holding the sword. Let's see what the sword can do. So then he decides, okay, he needs wood. So he goes and he chops a tree. And then he realizes, okay, the sword is very sharp. And then he thinks, after a while, the sword is not meant for chopping wood. It's meant for killing animals, killing humans. So he said, let me test it. And there was a small animal, like a rabbit or something, going past. So then he decides, okay, let me test the sword on this rabbit. And he kills that rabbit. Now, each time he's performing something, he is losing some of his piety. Now, when he killed this rabbit, he lost all his piety. And immediately after that, Indra comes back to claim the sword, because now the sage has lost all his piety and he is no threat to Indra anymore. So we see how the association of even an inanimate object can affect our consciousness. Now I'll give you, okay, no, it's been past already. Right, so now we can think, okay, that is in Vedic times. What about modern day? What about all of us? We do not have the association of like Vidur. We do not have the association of Vibhishan. We do not have the all the personalities within the scriptures. So what about us? Now let's read Srila Prabhupada's realization. He mentions this in Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 29 of Srila Prabhupada's association. He says, were we not favored by His divine grace, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, by our first meeting for a few minutes only, it would have been impossible for us to accept this mighty task of describing Srimad Bhagavatam in English. Without seeing him at that opportune moment, we could have become a great business magnate. Now this is Srila Prabhupada talking about himself. But never would we have been able to walk the path of liberation and be engaged in factual service of the Lord under the directions and instructions of His divine grace. So Srila Prabhupada is speaking about his own association, moments association with his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. And if he did not have that association, then he could have been an ordinary businessman. But we know that Lord Krishna had different plans for him. Right. So now coming back to us, where do we get our association from? Modern day association. We get it from Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, now many of our gurus that were with Prabhupada would speak about how Prabhupada only spent 2 hours a day taking rest. The rest of the time he was preaching and he was translating. And he mentions that all my energies are in my books. So when you read Srila Prabhupada's books, you are not just reading, you are taking association of Srila Prabhupada. So that is our modern day association. We are literally associating with Srila Prabhupada when we read his books. So with that, I'd like to implore and ask all of you humbly, very humbly, to at least read one chapter or even a page of Srila Prabhupada's books every day. Keep it by your bedside. If you are going to sleep at night, just open it and read one page. You are associating with Srila Prabhupada. As soon as you wake up in the morning, the book is there for you. If you wake up a few minutes earlier, read a verse, read a paragraph. In that way, you are constantly associating with Srila Prabhupada. Now, I'm going to conclude with one last story on the importance of association, the importance of a moment's association. Now, in the 9th canto, there is the mention of Maharaj Ambarish. He was a pure devotee of the Lord. Now, Maharaj Ambarish had one brother who was a rascal, a real rascal. He was abominable, the worst kind of personality that you can find. And Maharaj Ambarish tried in many ways to reform him, but he had no luck. So eventually he asked Narad Muni, please can you intervene and try and help my brother. He's such an abominable person. Everything that I try and do, he will, he does not accept it. So Narad Muni said, okay, I will try. So he came and he tried to speak to this brother of Maharaj Amrish. And while he's talking, this fellow, he's completely intoxicated. He started throwing bottles at Narad Muni. He started attacking him. So Narad Muni thought, this is too dangerous even for me. So he said to him that your destination is to meet Yamaraj. Your destination is to meet Yamaraj. When you go to meet Yamaraj, you ask him one question. Ask him, what is the benefit of one moment's association with a devotee? So eventually, this Narad Muni said that, and he ducked the last bottle that this fellow was throwing at him. So Narad Muni went off on his journey, and this fellow continued with his abominable activity, and eventually he passed away, he died, and he went to the abode of Yamaraj. And Yamaraj, of course, he read out all his sinful activities, and he gave him his penalty, and he said, okay, now you are going to be punished for all your activities. Is there anything that you would like to say? So then this fellow, now he heard his punishment. He was, a bit worried about what's going to happen. So then he remembered, Narad Muni said, when you meet Yamaraj, ask him what is the benefit of one moment's association. So he asked Yamaraj, can you tell me what is the benefit of one moment's association with a pure devotee? So Yamaraj said, hey, I am busy administering all sinful reactions. I don't have time to understand this philosophy of a pure devotee and one moment's association. Let's go ask Lord Brahma. So he took this person and he went to Brahmaloka. And he asked Brahma, Yamaraj asked Brahma that this personality has been punished for all his activities, but he's asking what is the benefit of a moment's association. So then Brahma says, I am busy administering the universe. I administer the entire universe. I don't have time to worry about one moment's association. Let's go ask Lord Shiva. So the three of them now, they went to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, they asked him the same question. And then Lord Shiva said, I have all these lower living entities to take care of. He takes care of all the hobgoblins, the bhoots and bhootnaths and all these funny creatures that we would not like to meet. So Lord Shiva says, I am busy taking care of them, and that is a handful. I do not have time to worry about a moment's association with a pure devotee. Let's go and ask Lord Vishnu. So now the four of them go to Vaikuntha, and they ask Lord Vishnu the same question. Brahma approaches Lord Vishnu. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. So I'll just round up with this pastime. So they all ask Lord Vishnu. So Brahma approaches Lord Vishnu, and all four of them are there now. So he asks Lord Vishnu, what is the benefit of a moment's association with a pure devotee? And what do you think Lord Vishnu answers? Now I'm going to give you the answer from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now those devotees that know this verse, you can recite it with me. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrakaya. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hai. The verdict, the translation, the verdict of all revealed scriptures is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Now, what is all success? Is going back home, back to the spiritual world. And now Lord Vishnu said to them that you all have already brought him here. He is in the spiritual world. So Brahma, you go back to your Brahmaloka. Shiva, you go back to Shivaloka. Yamaraj, you go back to Yamaloka. And him, you leave him here because he is already in the spiritual world. So you see, devotees, how important it is to have the association of devotees. And our association is reading Srila Prabhupada's books and taking the association of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and the senior disciples within the movement. So I will stop there and we will now go on to the Aarti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you, Vaishnava Priya Mataji, for that wonderful class on wise association. Devotees and guests, thank you for paying attention. We're now going to observe the Aarti with some kirtan, and then thereafter, prasadam will be served at the white tent at the bottom. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavani Pasya Chadeshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadagara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadagara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadagara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.